Nityananda Pran Das. Okay. Generally I'm referred to as Prabhuji. You can call me Nityananda Pran. However, call me A, whatever. Okay. Just don't say Gade and all that. It's anyway, you can if you want to. You're thinking like that, I know. But we have been doing this this is just more for the persons who are here for the first time. We've been doing this for 15 years now. Every week on campus, discussing and sharing and enriching each other with some experiences and mostly Vedic knowledge to supplement our life in addition to all that you're studying, working hard for. This sort of is the icing, if you will. It gives a sense of purpose, direction, etc. So what we are doing this semester, a little different, is we're going to call this the journey of self-discovery. This is from where I come, this is a popular sort of course of 5 parts. And I'm going to walk you through those 5 parts in the next 5 weeks if you decide to join along. And I promise you that I'll make it interesting enough. If not, we always have nice dinner. That's worth it, okay? If nothing else. So in this journey of self-discovery, today's part is identity and worldview. But before we actually get there, I want to share and sort of set the stage, if you will. One of the things of my interest is drama or play. Or it used to be movies quite a bit. My son is very interested in becoming a movie maker. Any scene that you're enacting has impact when the scene is set well. If you go to see a drama or a play, the props, the way the stage is lit, the way it's organized, etc., adds to just some people saying some dialogues, right? So I'm going to set the scene for you. And I'm going to write a few things. You're welcome to write them down if you like. Then the only request I have is these wonderful gadgets that we have. They have a tendency to keep us here physically and mentally take us somewhere else, okay? And even if they don't take it, sometimes we voluntarily leave. So for the next 45 minutes to an hour, I have a request that you don't update your Facebook status, you don't text anyone, right? How boring this is. This you can do after an hour. Until then, you just take the punishment. Is that okay? Even if something rings, except unless someone's ready to give birth to a child, I prefer that you not, so it doesn't disturb you or the person sitting next to you or around you. Definitely, I will notice and it distracts me. I've kept my phone in vibrate mode in my jacket pocket, so I'm not going to be looking at it. Is that okay? Yeah. Just to, all right. Thank you. So the setting of the stage is this. I'm going to use this 2 parts of the board because we're going to speak of one aspect here and one aspect here. Since all of us have some roots in India, correct? Anyone who's doesn't have an Indian background, everyone has. At least from the names it seemed like. So you've heard the famous utterances, perhaps may or may not know the meaning of it. If you know, please let me know. You've heard the famous utterances, tamasoma, jyotirgamaya. This is when usually people think when someone dies, that's when you say it. It's not like that. But what does tamasoma, jyotirgamaya mean? Anyone with the knowledge? What does gamaya mean?
From darkness, take us to light.
Gamaya means to go. May you go from tamasa, the darkness, to jyotir. Right? Okay, very good. And then there is another one that says
Mrityorma amritam.
and then there's one in between.
Yeah.
Very good. It starts with asatoma sadgamaya. Okay. So there are basically 4 parts to all of these. Something, ma means do not, right? Or one should not, ma. Then there is the opposite of it, right? And then gamaya means may you go, right? So asato ma sat gamaya. Asat, temporary. Any other meaning for asat you ever heard? Asat means that which is not substantial, that which doesn't have substance. And sat means that which has substance. So don't dwell in that which doesn't have substance, dwell in that which has. Okay? Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Mrityu, death or temporary, anything that is temporary. Don't dwell in it. And amritam means that which doesn't die. Gamaya. So these are the 3 famous aphorisms. Now, while one may say mrityorma amritam gamaya, everything that we do and everything that we have, including this body, is mrityu, or it's going to die, right? So it doesn't mean that what you are doing now, studying or eating or exercising, that you're supposed to stop. It doesn't mean that. It means use this for amrita. Recently hearing. So I'm going to share the same example. Suppose you have a banana, right? A banana has 2 essential aspects to it, a peel and the pulp. Which is more important?
Depends.
What do you think? Well, anyway, the guys are looking at me in the back. What do you think?
Both, like, depend on the situation.
So in what situation is the peel important?
Like, if you have to keep it for a long time.
Very good. Excellent. While the peel keeps the pulp intact, the peel itself has no taste, right? But the peel is only important to keep the pulp for consumption and for giving to someone. You can't give someone just the pulp like that. It's not portable, right? Similarly, this body or whatever we are doing is like the peel. It has its value, but the substance is something else, right? So the whole Vedic aphorism makes a distinction between that which is, I'm going to point here so you'll know what I'm going to write, that which is temporary and that which is not or eternal. Okay, so tamasa and jyotir, asat and sat, mrityu and amrita, right? So the whole Vedic system is built on distinguishing these two. So one should know what is what and using one to get to the other, or discarding one to get to the other. We don't want tamasa. It's not like that's the peel. Tamas is darkness, right? Darkness has certain disadvantages, that it makes everything look like the same. You can't distinguish one from the other, right? So you need light, so you can tell, oh, there's a table here, there are chairs here, there is something on the floor there. Because in a dark room you cannot. In fact, in a dark room you can't even see your own hands. So we need light. Therefore, whenever there is knowledge, we say we are enlightened. Correct? So, the way to remove darkness is to turn the light on. So, the way to remove ignorance, which is darkness, is to add enlightenment. And that ignorance means I'm going about living life not knowing certain things. Right? And it's okay. For example, some of us are chemistry students. I may not know physics, but that doesn't change my life. I may not know data science. It may not change my life, it may change someone else's life. Right? But that's not the kind of ignorance we're talking about. Certain ignorance is okay. Right? But the ignorance, that which keeps us in the dark, that is what we want to remove. So what does that ignorance look like? Okay. Before we continue, I have a small request. Before you guys came in, I had requested to keep your phones away for the next half an hour, 40 minutes, so it doesn't distract us. Thank you. Unless it's urgent, and the urgent was if someone's giving birth to a child. Okay. So, where was I? I was ignorance. Where was I? I was ignorance, correct. Here's a famous example that is given in the Vedic literature. I'm going to give you two. And this is quoted in many Upanishads as well. In darkness, right, if there is a rope on the ground, that rope in darkness looks like a snake. And unless the light is turned on, you can't tell whether it is rope or snake. It is possible it could be a rope, but it is also possible it could be a snake. Right? So, in fact, the other is more dangerous. Suppose it's a rope and you think of it as a snake, then you'll stay away from it. But if it is a snake and you think of it as a rope, right, you won't be going home to tell anyone. Or there are certain things in the Vedas that say, don't do this, and we challenge it. Oh, who said? Did anyone see? Right? They oftentimes we've challenged. So one of our teachers said it this way. In India, you see it more. In America, you don't see so much. You see an electric box with a skull and two bones, right? And it says high voltage, do not touch. Right? Does anyone challenge that? To say, who knows? Kisko pata hai? I can touch and see such mein hai ya nahi current. Right? Then their idea was, if you touch, you will not be able to tell anyone that there is electricity in it. You will not be there to tell anyone. So there are certain things that are said to be in knowledge, but we are ignorant of it. Yeah? So darkness is removed by light of knowledge. So why we're talking about this is, we said we are embarking on, I guess together, embarking on a journey of self-discovery is what we said. So journey means there's a starting point. And it also means there's a destination. We want to get somewhere. And where do we want to get? At least theoretically, we want to get to the point of what we call self-discovery. Now, the moment we say self-discovery, there is one thing that is already presumed. What is that? Any idea? We're having a lot of fun. If we say self-discovery, there is one thing that is already presumed.
That's not informed yet.
Exactly, we don't know. We don't know the self. Okay? I don't know the self. And I've been trying to study it for the past, this is my 21st year. And I don't profess that I know everything. And the reason we get together and have, I guess, sessions like these is, I find myself enriched by things that you guys share. and I'm greedy for being enriched. And I hope that I will be able to make a small contribution in your lives. That's the purpose. And so together we help each other in that journey of discovery. So I'm going to say a few things on this side. This side is the temporary, and you're going to help me. And then we're going to put some things on this side. So here I'm going to say temporary, and I'm going to say permanent or eternal is the more accurate word. Okay? So help me with a list of things that are temporary here.
Human body.
No, you guys are very philosophical. You started off straight with the body. Someone said human body. Other bodies are not? My handwriting is bad. I usually crack this joke. Usually it stopped being funny at this point. Only with my handwriting I'm qualified to be a doctor. Otherwise I'm not. Okay, temporary is body. What else? Huh? Health. Okay. Karthik. If you've not noticed, for some of you, Chicago winter is also temporary. It will go. As difficult it is to believe, we are more about body and health, but no one's thinking that winter is going to go. It will go. Problems. Do they belong here? They belong here.
Appearance.
Appearance.
Yes.
What do you mean?
It's temporary.
More than wealth, I think we should say poverty. That is temporary too. Anyway, but that's, wealth is temporary. Anyone agree? Anyone disagree? Okay, what else?
Failure.
Huh?
Failure.
Failure. Okay. It's a success also, though. I want to say something. Wow, very good. Very good. Who said relationships? Very good. Why are they temporary?
Obvious reasons.
I don't know. What are my obvious reasons? Is this coming from heartbreak recently?
Relationship depends on like what kind.
With whom you have.
So whatever kind. Let's pick some.
Some relationships are eternal.
Give me which relationship is eternal.
My parents, that's eternal.
So I was going to actually thinking about this example. Your relationship with your parents, is it eternal?
Yeah.
So let's look at it. This is a timeline. Okay, this is extending to. How is your relationship with your parents eternal?
Okay, so yeah, as long as I am there, it is there. Or like, yeah. No, even then, like, even if and everyone is dying, still they are my parents.
No, because once you die, the relationship stops existing.
No, like, I was once there, my parents were once.
Relationship requires two people, minimally. If one of them is absent, there's no relationship. There is a sense of relationship, but there's no relationship. Right? By definition, relationship means two people, minimally. So one of three things can happen in a relationship. Person A can go away or have a change of heart. Person B can go away or die or have a change of heart. Or both are there and the relationship or what they carry for each other can go away. So they are temporary. Okay? Body, health, winter or seasons, appearance, wealth. Anything else?
Emotions.
Emotions are temporary.
Exams.
What's the end point?
Realization.
This guy is too philosophical for me. Go ahead, help me.
Let's take a simple example. Relationship we spoke about. So, heart rate, and they are emotional. I mean, guy or girl, like, why did this happen to me? All this question. And then they find someone else. Their heart moves on. So they realize that
Emotions are not temporary. Well, in the grand scheme, when at this point when we go away, emotions also go away, right? It's not, emotions are temporary in the grand scheme, yes, but from birth to death, emotions are there. A particular emotion may change. Sure. Huh? Pain. Pain, very good. But along with pain, pleasure is also temporary. Something that we like, we cannot continuously do. What's the favorite food of this group here?
Krishna lunch. Biryani.
Yeah. Gulab jamun. Who said gulab jamun? Very good. So let's say gulab jamun is yours, my favorite too. Okay? And I really am looking forward to eating gulab jamun. Depending upon each of our capacity, we can have 5, 10, 15?
No.
10 gulab jamuns. What happens if you are fed gulab jamun from morning till night because you love it very much? Not diabetes. Before that, you next day you vomit it then, and you will say, no more gulab jamun. I'll tell you a true life example. You said gulab jamun. I'm from Bombay. I still call it Bombay. I don't like the name Mumbai, but you know, who listens to me when I say it away, right? So there is a place in Mumbai that was not far from my place, and those guys made the best gulab jamuns. Jhama sweets. Anyone there from Mumbai? Okay. All right. Yeah, okay. And I used to love gulab jamuns. That was my only thing to eat there. Those guys had a different menu, but I would only eat gulab jamun. Whenever we went, I would eat 3, 4 gulab jamuns, right? But we went so often, and I ate only gulab jamuns so often that I reached a point that I had said, no more gulab jamuns. It took me 12 years before I could eat another gulab jamun. Because every time I would think of gulab jamun, I would feel a nausea in my stomach. Like, although it's something I like, I just could not even bear the thought of it. So it's something we like, even that we like, is temporary. It's like chewing gum. My favorite example. When you first bite into it, it's great. There's a burst of flavor. You keep chewing. At some point, this is, in economics, there is a term to it. The more you chew, at some point it starts becoming less tasty. And it comes to a point where you have to spit it out or stick it to someone else, right? And in economics, do you know what it is called? You've heard the term, the law of diminishing marginal returns? Okay. You're all engineers, no? You will not touch economics. Law of diminishing marginal return means if you put 1 unit of input now and you get something in return, the more you do, at some point you will start getting less. I mean, this is not economics class, but this is the law of diminishing marginal return curve. There is a point at which it peaks and then it goes away. All right, quickly, anything else in the list of temporary?
Fame.
Huh?
Fame.
Fame. Opinions. What do you mean opinion? Your opinion, or you mean an opinion in a certain point in time? Okay. Health is temporary, so disease. Anything on this side you want to put?
Not all diseases are temporary.
Hey, not all diseases are temporary. What do you mean?
Like AIDS.
Diabetes.
Well, when the person dies, there's no disease for that person anymore.
Yeah, but the body, like some people have very diseases like
Okay, cancer is maybe. Common cold is more rare. It doesn't matter. Still, it's not like there's no sensation of disease anymore.
if someone gets a radiation, the bodies are not burned, they are buried in concrete.
It's okay. The radiation is not a disease. Radiation is not a disease. All right. Anything you want to put here? Any ideas? You said what? Soul? What is that? I know a car like that, but that's about it. Anything else on that list?
Memories.
Memories. Who said memories? Help me how memories are eternal.
Well, if you have ever faced a situation, it will always, last in your mind that yes, this has happened to me.
Along with memory, is it something that is forgetfulness there? Are all our memories eternal? Some of them. Let me first define eternal. I think there is some confusion. What is B? Birth. D? Death. Very good. And what is in between? Okay, good. My definition of permanent or eternal is not this. Okay? My definition is here. So actually this is this here. Alright? So this is temporary in this case. I am born here as a man or a woman, right? And then I die here. Okay? I say I die, that's the language we use, but that's what we are looking at. We said the body dies. Okay? Actually, between our birth and death, our body dies many times. Do you agree? So explain if you agreed. I'll give you a gulab jamun. Is there gulab jamun today? I don't know. Explain how our body dies. I mean, I just said it. You explain how a body dies many times.
Like if you want something and
Who's competing for her gulab jamun? Go ahead.
if you want something in our life and what if we didn't get it, then it's like
Oh,
like that.
that's not the body dying though.
Part of body dying.
So it is said that in any human body, actually in any body, all the cells are regenerated once in 7 years. Okay? So this is usually example. We have this room, right? And there are all these bricks that are in these walls. If every day I come, I remove one brick and put a new brick in that place and go away, over some course of time, is the room new or old? This means what? You're agreeing or you're disagreeing? It's new, it's old, what is it?
Updating.
Still doesn't answer my question. It's renewed, but it's the same room, right? So we say same room or same body, but actually it is a different body altogether. The body we had when we were born, right, is not the body we had when we were 10 or 11 years old. Is not the body that we have now, is not the body we will have when you're my age, and is not the body you will be having later. And at some point, that change is very dramatic, which is what we call death. Because here's one distinction between birth and so-called death. While the body is changing, right, we have a sense of something that is continuing. What is that sense of? The sense of I is continuing. If I show you a picture of your childhood, you will not say, kiska bachcha hai? You will identify, that's me. Right? But that body is not there anymore. It has been updated. It has gotten renewed. But the sense of I is clear, so there is a continuity. At some point, the change is very dramatic. Okay? And when that change is very dramatic, we call it death. Here we call them changes. But this is death. At death, what happens to the sense of I? Any idea? It's forgotten. Okay? But does it exist?
It becomes a memory.
So this is where this concept that the Bhagavad Gita starts with the idea of soul. Okay? And it's important to know that in this whole list, if you notice, they're all abstract things or inert things. None of them is alive. Health, money, pain, fame, memory, nothing is alive. They're all already dead in one sense. Do you agree with me? But here is where, when we say soul, the sense of I or life exists. I'll say more. The reason we have a life or our life in a particular body exists, the question, someone will say, well, I can't see the soul. Is that a strong argument for the soul not existing? Why not? Huh?
You can't see air.
You can't see air. Does air exist? Hopefully, right? It does. Anything else that we cannot see that exists?
Pain.
My great grandfather? Or not mine, yours? Did he exist? You seen him?
No.
But you derive from that by a way that, yeah, if he did not exist, I would not be here. Right? So at birth, there are certain things that are important for us to understand, because that helps the construct of certain things. Okay? And I'm going to get into this in session 2 and 3, but I'm going to refer to it now. At birth, or birth itself, why are you born as a woman and someone else is born as a man? Why are you born in North India, South India, West, East, Middle? Mumbai. Very good. Dhanya ho gaya. Your life is already made. Anyone else who's not born in Mumbai here? Okay. Where were you born?
Pune.
Pune. Anything farther than Mumbai? Bihar. Why is he born in Bihar? Why is someone born as a dog or a cat or a lizard or a bird? Why?
Purpose.
Huh? No purpose. Generally the answer is, it just happened. It was a toss of a coin. It was random. Okay? When our birth, I shouldn't say when our birth is random, because a lot of cases birth is random. It just, what I call it is oops babies. Forget that. So oops, I'm not meaning that oops baby types. What I'm saying is, our being born in a particular family with a certain physique, a certain eye color, skin color, height, weight, whatever, in the right sense is not random. Okay? But for it to be happening at this event here as birth, there must be something preceding it. At least that's the Vedic view, and that view is strongest view. Because if you say randomness, there's a lot of problem with randomness, okay, or by chance. The chance theory is not a strong theory because it raises many questions. It raises the question of fairness. For example, someone is born blind or born with a congenital disease. Then the only explanation is, oh, those genes did not match or something happened genetically. But the question is, why did it happen in this baby and not in that baby? They'll say it's once in a million chances and it happened that way. But it's still not satisfying. Why here? Right? There's no answer, there's no reason. And if everything ended here, then also there is a problem. What ends is perhaps memory, but there are many cases where people remember who they were in their past life. Yeah? There are methods. There is a method called hypnotic regression. Those who know how to do it can hypnotize you. I don't know how to do it. Look in my eyes. I don't know how to do it. But they can put you into hypnotic regression and take you back 1 or maybe 2 lives at the most. There are people like that. There are documented cases. There's a guy called Ian Stevenson or something. He documented about 2,000 cases around the world. Okay, there may be more, but he documented 2,000 cases where little children will say, those are my parents, that is my house where I was born, I used to live there, I have 4 children, and these are those people, these are the names. It's called past life memory. It stays for 5, 7, 10 years and then it fades away. Okay, so there is, although that is not definitive proof, there are indications. Okay. So in one sense, this idea of I or life is that which is eternal. And here's how it is described in an easy way. When I say, I can't say I'm dead. When someone else says I'm dead, right? Until then they say he's here, and then they say he's gone, right? We use this language, correct? But when we say someone is gone, I won't point to you, but let's say someone is gone, the body is still there, correct? So we say passed away or gone or died. But the question is, if I am the body, then what has gone away? Right? We use the word soul without fully understanding or knowing the existence of the soul. The first thing is, can someone see the soul? The answer is no. Okay, and there is a reason why, but you can't see the soul. There are many things you cannot see. I cannot see a person on the other side of the room. Okay, but I can hear them. Can you hear the soul? Actually, yeah, I'm talking and you're hearing at this point, but that's the soul speaking, because if I'm dead, I won't be making any noises, right? Snoring definitely I will not be doing. So it's not the soul, but so the question that is already asked or always asked by certain philosophers to point towards the existence of the soul is a simple question. There was a medieval philosopher by the name David Hume. Okay, and David Hume did simple exercises, and he would ask the question, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Are your eyes seeing the board, or are you seeing through your eyes?
Both can happen.
Because if you are not there, the eyes are still there. They cannot see. The both cannot happen.
So I'm looking at the board, but I'm thinking somewhere else.
You're looking at the board still.
Eyes are not visualizing what is front of me. I am actually visualizing my thoughts that happen in office.
Still. If you're not there, the eyes also cannot see. But you can see. Right? Are you hearing or are your ears hearing?
I'm here.
Correct. You're hearing through your ears. Because if you were not there, the body is still there. That is why when someone is gone, in movies we see they shake them. Urja, of course, and they wake up in the movies. Generally in reality it doesn't happen. You speak to them, you shake them, but they don't respond. The ears are there, the mouth is there, the eyes are there. Brain is also there, by the way. Heart is also there. But person is not there. Or what we say, soul is not there. So it is the existence of the soul that animates this body. And when the soul is not there, the same body is not animated. It is considered dead. Right? Because the soul is there, this body is functioning. When the soul leaves, this body is either buried, burnt or left. So the Vedas say, oh, you're so enamored by your body. One day it is going to become one of three things. It will either become dirt, it will either become ash, or it will become stool. Meaning some other animal will eat it and pass it away. Alright? So just to, I guess, stress the importance of the soul, there was a story of a man with 4 wives. I don't know why he would marry 4 times, but man with 4 wives. And how many of you have heard this story before? Oh good, then I can use it. Alright, and you're going to unlock the mystery of the story. Okay, he had 4 wives. Now, on the lady's side, think of she had 4 husbands. Yeah? The 4th one was the one that he was most in love with. Every day did something to keep the romance alive. So bought new clothes, new perfume, new shoes, new jewelry, all of that. That was the 4th one. And from morning till night, that was the object of his affection. The 3rd wife, the 4th and the 3rd one, was the one that he was very proud to take to parties, because she was very, you could say, beautiful, or came from a important family. Just liked, she was a trophy wife, put it that way. But the 2nd wife is the one he always went to take advice from. What do you think I should do? I'm in this situation. Or any good news or happy news he wanted to share with the 2nd wife. And he even forgot that he had a 1st wife. For him, it's only these 3. Of the 3, the 4th one was his favorite one. Like someone who said, the body comes to an end. This person was on their deathbed, about to die. And his whole attention was on the 4th one, so he asked her, honey, I'm going to die very soon. Will you come with me? And she, in a very cold-hearted way, said, of course not. And when she said it like that, he felt a severe pain in his heart.
Anyway, he was dying.
Huh?
Anyway, he was dying.
Anyway, he was dying, but she didn't speed it up. She was not really, but she was just very cold. No. So then, out of anxiety, right, he asked his 3rd wife, the one he took to all the parties, and will you come with me? And she said, no, sorry. One more time, severely heartbroken. Then he asked the 2nd one, will you come? Will you come with me? She said, no, I cannot come with you. I can come up to a point. I'll come to see you off. The other two are not even caring. I'll come to see you off. And when he was completely devastated, the first one said, I'll be there. I'll be there with you all along. So he first thought, who's this? And then he remembered, okay, that's my first wife. Okay. But by the time it was too late, he was dying. Right? So that's sort of the story. And the unpacking of it is this. And it's not a story about someone else's story about you and me. You have 4 wives. Did you know that? And you have 4 husbands. Each one of us has 4 spouses. The 4th one that we are very enamored by, and we buy shoes and clothes and perfumes and all of that, is our body. We're just obsessed by it. From morning till night, that's our meditation. How to make it look better, how to make it smell better, how to keep it fit, how to this thing and that thing. The 3rd one that we take to all the parties are all our accomplishments and certificates. That's because that's what we like to show off to people. Any conversation in a party is, have you noticed? Each person is trying to one up the other. Oh, I did this. Oh, really? I also did. In fact, I did better than this one. That's the 3rd wife we take. The 2nd wife that we go for advice and sharing are our friends and relatives. Alright? So now, at the point of death, is it wrong when the 4th one said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to come? No. What happens to the body? You take the body with you? No. It's gone. It's buried, burnt, or fed to the animals. Are all our certificates, our wealth, degree, house, going anywhere with us? No. That's the 3rd wife. When she says no, that's also true. Then the 2nd one said, I'll come a little while. I'll come a little distance with you. Who's that? The relatives and friends. At least they come to the funeral home. And they stand up and speak a nice few things about us. Right? Something about dying. As long as you're alive, people are fighting and saying bad things about each other. At death and funeral, they'll say some nice things. Because it's meant to say nice things.
They have to satisfy the second wife. Right?
Exactly. So the only one that stays is the soul per se. Okay. Now, what happens is, if you notice, our whole life from here to somehow is only spent here. When this is who we actually are. Right? We are busy with taking care of the body, health, certain disease, appearances, wealth, fighting poverty. Graduate students, I can't say wealth, right? Memory, forgetfulness. Any rich student here? That's an oxymoron, no? Failure, success, relationship, pain. We're only operating in this space and perhaps not even aware. If we are aware, not enough on this side. When this is what stays and all that goes away. If I ask you to please deposit, I opened a new business. It's a bank. And I want you to deposit your money in my bank. I shouldn't say this to students because that's hardly any money, but whatever. I want you to deposit in my bank. In 5 years, the bank is closing down. No? Why not? But that's what we're doing. Right? Alexander. Of course, we call him Alexander the Great, but I never thought he was great. But there was one thing that he said and did that was very enlightening. When he was about to die, you know the story?
Put his hand outside and
3 things. He said, you know the 3 things he asked? So he said, when I die, I want you to carry my body from this place to that place with my hands hanging out of the coffin. Like this. And I forget the third one. Do you remember? Okay. The second one he said is, all the gold coins that I've collected, as my funeral procession is going, I want you to scatter the gold coins on the ground. Right? And he said a third thing, and I forget what it was.
What is achievements or something?
No.
He told someone to speak something about the person who was carrying him.
Something, but I can't remember. So I don't want to.
Related to that.
Yeah, since I can't remember for sure. Okay. And the meaning, and I asked him why. He said, first is the idea that my hands are hanging out of the coffin is to show the world that however great you are and how much ever you have conquered, when you go empty-handed. You don't take anything with you. And this, in that spirit, you may amass a lot of wealth, great, but when you die, it has no value. It has to be scattered on the floor. Of course, we have value in the sense we leave it for people who we care for, but it has no value to us per se. Right? But the whole idea is, we started off, some of you came late, we started with asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. So asat, what is the other one? Asatoma, and then tamas, asat, tamas and mrityu is what we are. What your average, 23, 24 years old? Roughly? 24? It's the average age here? Well, I'll skew the statistic without me to 24, let's say. 24 years have gone here, and before we realize it might be 48 or 42, we may still be here. And we hope you will not. And the idea of inviting you, and I guess we inviting each other and coming here, is to at least light that little spark that there is something more valuable here that needs attention. And hopefully that journey of discovery will begin. Okay? So, although we cannot see the soul, it is described in the Bhagavad Gita that there are persons who can. Which is you or you or you or I. We also can see the soul. Okay? Not right now. We don't have the vision to see it. Our eyes cannot see right now. Why? Because our eyes are in darkness or are in ignorance. Just as we may have eyes, but when you turn the light off, you can't see your own hand. But when you turn light on, you can see. Similarly, when that spiritual light is awakened or turned on, you can see the soul. Drishya is the word. You can see. Okay? It's possible because that is who we are. If we cannot see ourselves, then what's the point, right? We are the soul. Generally, we say, I am the body, I have a soul. The statement actually has to be other way around. I am a soul, I have a body. Because tomorrow I will not have that body. But I continue to exist. And there are three main characteristics of I. First is already written. Eternal. Eternal means no birth, no death. It is always existing. But we have a sense of beginning and ending because that's what temporary means, right? So it is eternal. That's my handwriting. And third is, I'm going to say, happy or blissful. Always. The soul is never sad because it is always meant to be in its original nature. It is blissful or happy. These three in this realm you'll find exactly the opposite. Right? That which is eternal sits in a body that is temporary. Right? That's exactly the opposite. That which is always knowledgeable is sitting in ignorance. Tamasi, asat and mrityu. So that which is eternal has mrityu here. That which is knowledgeable has tamasa here. And that which is happy has mrityu, asat, and asat means unhappy or temporary. So all these three characteristics are hidden, they have to be discovered. So we are in an incompatible realm, and because of incompatibility we experience distress, sadness, death, all of that. So the Bhagavad Gita, which is for Arjuna who's about to start a war, right? And to him, the first lesson is this one. And so many people ask, what's the relevance? Why is that being spoken to? Because without an idea of identity, you cannot have a worldview. Or, we have an identity, and I'm going to show you how that is. We are all Indians, right? We say, I am Indian. Correct? So our world view, how we see the world, are through the eyes of an Indian. And our world looks very different if I look through it from the eyes of an American, or an Israeli, or a Palestinian, or an African, a jungle tribe fellow. Right? The world looks very different. It's the same world, but it looks different. Right? So our worldview today is primarily formed by our identity. If I'm a woman, I look at the world in a particular way. If I'm a man, I look at it in a different way. Right now, it's a different worldview.
Because in his
Here
view,
I'm
it is
looking
very
at
slow.
thrill, here I'm looking at safety, protection, responsibility. It's the same word, it's the same road. Hopefully not the same car, but you get the idea. Right? So identity forms worldview. But all our identities are temporary.